Thanks for joining us on the News Hour. I guess, first of all, this siege of al-Fasher has been going on for some weeks now. Can you give us an update on what the latest situation on the ground and what conditions are like there for those people trapped in al-Fasher?
I mean, RSF is basically sieging al-Fasher at the moment, and there have been basically ongoing negotiations between the ground commanders until about 3 weeks ago, and then all arrangements that had been there on the ground, as I understand, broke down. And at the moment, we see a lot of aerial bombardments by SAF, ground bombardments by RSF and attacks by RSF into the city, and basically a lot of displacement of people who had been already displaced to al-Fasher, now again from al-Fasher to especially Tawila and even farther to Jebel Mara, to territories controlled by the SLMA Abdul Wahid. And in these areas now, there is a lot of people where there is no fighting ongoing in these particular areas where they fled to, but they don't have any food. There's far too little resources on the ground, so it's a real humanitarian crisis developing here.
Yeah, these are very remote, arid areas, as I understand it. Now, the UN resolution is obviously very important. Plenty of human rights groups have been lobbying for it for some time now. But is there any indication that these groups, whom, as you say, arrangements between them have already broken down, will they heed it? And if not, what more can be done to prevent further casualties?
I mean, the UN resolution was something quite a lot of people wanted. The UK, as the penholder for Sudan, was negotiating it quite a lot with other member states of the Security Council, and I think behind the scenes also with the UAE, who are thought to be the major force behind RSF and supporting RSF. So what we will see is probably not any immediate implications on the ground. Nobody will adhere necessarily to the resolution, but it is an additional bit of pressure on external parties to cease, perhaps, or at least reduce their support of the fighting parties on the ground.
So, yes, if, as you say, this isn't going to be the thing that necessarily moves the dial in terms of stopping these hostilities, what more can be done on the ground in Sudan and by the wider international community to try to bring this fighting to an end?
I think at the moment the outlook for even a ceasefire agreement is rather bleak. I think both parties are at the moment committed to fight. They have mobilized increasing paramilitary forces on basically both sides. So I don't think necessarily that there's a chance to hold the fighting in the short run. What is important at the moment is getting more humanitarian aid in. The problem is at the moment that all humanitarian aid going to Sudan needs SAF clearance, and SAF doesn't necessarily, so the former government doesn't clear any cross-border aid that comes from Chad at the moment or from South Sudan to Darfur, which exacerbates the humanitarian crisis there. So I think one of the efforts that have been taken is getting aid into these territories that are really under siege now.
Okay, getting aid to these quite remote places, of course, a challenge, especially with fighting going on. Pospisil, thank you so much for joining us.